Hello, it's Sean Bean. A legend on legends. Ask me anything.
Before we start, be sure to like and subscribe to be the first to know about new videos. Comment your answer below.
Do you have anecdotes about your time filming National Treasure? There was one where I went back to Nick Cage's house, and we'd had a few drinks. We were playing pool and he accidentally knocked over his prehistoric cave bear skull and smashed it. And he was really upset about it, and the next day went and buried it in a field. This is my new favorite anecdote ever. This is so Cage. It seems like very single person that has ever worked with him has some sort of crazy story that would happen to literally no other living creature besides Nicolas Cage. And I believe every single one. What's a role that you wished you had for longer? I guess Ned Stark. So did we, sniff, so did we. How did Harrison Ford manage to hit you with that boat hook? It was an accident. And we were just slipping around on this boat. It was in Los Angeles in a studio on a boat on rockers, hydraulics, there were wind and rain machines, it was very slippery and chaotic conditions, and it was just an accident. He just slipped and whacked me in the eye and I had about 35 stitches inside and out. Just out here, and in here. So the next day we carried on filming and they shot me from the other side in profile to finish the scene. They gave me a suit at the end. I suppose that's compensation. What is the strangest/funniest thing to happen to you while on set? I once walked onto the wrong set. I was doing Lady Chatterley's Lover, this was in the 90s, and it was like a studio. I had just had my lunch break and I walked back on set into the Enchanted Garden set. Everybody was dressed in the same clothes. I sort of realized I was on the wrong set and wandered off. I was a little bit tired. I just saw all these actors that I didn't know, and I was like, wait a minute, because it all looked the same, except it wasn't my film. At least it didn't happen when you were about to shoot a nude scene, right? Ha ha ha. Yes. You started in Ronin, which is still the best car chase movie ever. Any memorable crashes or moments from filming that epic movie? I can't remember any crashes, because we had ex-Grand Prix racers driving the cars and they were brilliant. Some pretty hairy moments going down side streets with just an inch next to each side of the car. Fast. Thrilling. Have you ever played GoldenEye for Nintendo 64? How does it feel being a character in not only a movie, but a video game that has become a cult classic? Oh, it's good, it's great. Especially because it's so popular, it's like, quite unique really. It was such a big hit. But I think I've seen him. I think my head looks a bit square in it. If you were going to war, would you rather take Robert Baratheon or Aragorn with you into battle? Robert Baratheon. He's from Yorkshire. That's why. Why not Aragorn? If Robert got a hold of you, he'd crush you. You'd be careful not to get caught. Not Fat Robert though, right? I mean, he probably has a pretty good body slam, but that's about it. Ha ha ha. Exactly. Mr. Bean, can you describe the level of choreography that goes into fight scenes like you've been a part of in Lord of the Rings? And as a follow-up, has anyone ever fucked up and actually injured a fellow actor in any fight scenes? Yeah, that happens on occasions, you know? But fortunately there's been nothing too drastic, but they're usually very well choreographed, very well thought out. And there are stunt guys, a great bunch of people, very talented bunch, and they know exactly what they're doing. And I feel very safe with them in their company. But yeah, it's good fun, that. Someone stabbed someone in Sharp, and it went through his body. That was on film as well. It was one of the early Sharps, eagle or rifle, maybe, in Russia in the Crimea, and the sword actually went like that, gestures to midsection. He was alright, but it was a pretty shocking moment, because there were no hospitals around there, no ambulances, so if you got injured, it was pretty bad. But I've cut my hand open, you just kind of get on with the job. I split my knuckles open and got 5 to 6 stitches in them, on a set, and I went back and got back into the scene. I mean, that's not a big deal. Mr. Bean, how much did you know about Game of Thrones before signing on? Did you know much about Ned's character? I wasn't familiar with it really. I'd heard of the writer and his books, but it was kind of a new experience for me. And I read the books, and I guess that was it, really. Hello. Big fan of your portrayal of Boromir and Ned Stark. I wish I could have seen more of you on GOT. You make your characters someone that people can relate to and feel sympathy for. Thank you for your work and for doing this AMA. Okay, question time. What was your favorite Boromir scene to film? Either that you had fun with or that you think helped with Boromir's characterization. We did a good scene with me and Vigo, where we just sat together chatting about our past and where we grew up and where we came from. You know, discussing how much was at stake at that particular point in the film. I always remember that. I enjoyed working with Vigo very much. I enjoyed working with everyone, but Vigo and I got on very well together. Favorite moment while filming Game of Thrones? There was a scene with Bran near the tree, that legendary kind of family tree of the Starks, near the pool of water, and I enjoyed that scene. I enjoyed the scenes with Lena as well. She's great fun. This AMA, you're killing it. I think I love you. Thanks for doing this AMA. Do you still play piano? Any favorites? I still play the piano a little bit, not very much. I wish I had kept it going, you know? But it's just time, I suppose. But perhaps I'll get some piano lessons when I get back to London and see if I can resurrect the little I did know. I'm not very good, but I do try. And I guess Chopin is my favorite, Chopin and J.S. Bach. How many times has a random stranger asked you to say one does not simply, insert line here? Ha ha ha. They've not. I've seen people with t-shirts on, and I've said it myself. Wait, I guess they have. A few too many drinks, and one says one does not simply this or one does not simply that. It's a line I say in Lord of the Rings, in it. One does not simply walk into Mordor. It's a great line because you can apply anything to it. It's immortalized. One does not simply approach Sean Bean and say one does not simply. Were you shocked when you were beheaded? Yes. Yeah. I mean, I knew it was coming, you know? But when I read it, you know, it just comes out of the blue and was a nasty shock. Especially after Ned Stark thought he'd got some agreement between Joffrey and the various factions, and for them to renege on the deal was pretty shocking. The scene was shot in Malta, in this big square in Malta. I think they built it like a big public square, and it was good. It was weird, you know? Because they made a cast of my head with hair on it. I've got some pictures of me holding my head. And it was fun. I don't know, you kind of just have to imagine what it's like to have your head chopped off, and Bolin and how she must have felt. But it was the manner in which it was done, it was all the more tragic for that. Why did you not teach Jon Snow anything? Ha ha ha. Because he's not mine. Little bastard. Somewhere a lonely tear just rolled down Jon Snow's face. And a smile appeared on the face of Cat Stark.
You have been visited by Sad Cat. Like this video and subscribe to the channel to make Sad Cat happy again.